Okay, it decided to update like right as I was doing my thing here. Game uses auto save. By the way, you can go into a seizure by playing this game. FYI. So yeah, it like installed an update as I was playing. It's like, well, broadcast's over, and I'm like, I'm sorry, what? So it's just ended my broadcast. Like, oh, cool, thanks, appreciate it. All right. So let's see what this does. All right, I think this is right where I left off. I'm gonna get some water while we go through this cutscene.
They're everywhere! We must go back! To where?
The book! Is she reading from the book? Then we advance.
No! Hold the line! I can stop her! Only I can stop her!
Okay.
Charlie! I know. I missed you too.
Let her enjoy the moment. She's been visiting your door every morning for the past 300 years.
Oh, it must have been so hard on her.
Not just her. I suppose that's why I might have been a little curt before.
A little?
You already made the ultimate sacrifice once. Maybe I'm in no rush to see you do it again.
We do not choose our destiny.
But we can choose to duck.
First lesson you ever taught me.
And still the most important. Especially now that you have all these eyes on you.
I have noticed.
To these people, you are a being of myth and legend. A grand hero of old. And they're right. You are a hero. But I also know the battle that rages within your soul. It's not enough that you are a hero. You need to decide what type of hero you will be. I am sure there will be plenty of opportunity for that in the days to come. For now, I would head to the Forge. Our new guests are eager to show you something. This was a lot easier when it was just you and I beheading the Dark Legion as we traipsed through the woods.
Don't forget about Agatha.
I never could.
Daily Bugle bot.
Charlie was restless all night. I've known something was wrong. We'll talk more later, but for now, Stark has requested your presence in the Forge. I think he has another present for you.
All right, Superlink. Daily Bugle repost bot. Spider-Man and his amazing friends unleash monster upon city. Garish Blecker Streetmeter sealed off by authorities. When will the Spider Menace and his pet ink monster end their trail of destruction through the Greenwich Village? And let's not forget about the disgraced surgeon, Stephen Strange. Is he in cahoots with that web-slinged wrongdoer? Did he hope to turn his row house into no house? Garish, by the Ancient One, who runs this paper, Mephisto? Figures. Not even mentioned in the article. I'm not even mentioned in the article. We heard from our pajama-clad friend. Still nothing, but based on the police-banned radio chatter we intercepted, I'd say they're closing in on the Little Italy that they've stopped for a slice. Everyone knows it's all about the linguine and the clam sauce there. At least you didn't say gabagool. Indeed, I met a gabagool once. We definitely do not want to invoke one of those right now. So, Spider-Man, It's not that easy. These boys move too damn fast. Keep at it. Even in New York City, these two stand out. So being at the last second to save the day, leading away the carnivorous sludge monster to keep New York City safe. Gotta say it, he's the astounding Spider-Man. He had too many words. Those words of the red blue pajamas fool you. Spider-Man's no joke. Wow, looks like somebody made a friend. More like the enemy of my enemy. Starting to think we could use more of those. This is the old Avengers tolerate your spooky, strange teammate attitude I was looking for. Okay.
I'm almost getting used to seeing you on your feet.
Forgive me, I'm always in a hurry.
Now?
Think you can tell your friend inside there to turn it up a few hundred Kelvin?
I could. However, it might shatter the containment spell preventing him from incinerating this facility.
I think we're good. And just in time.
The Forge has certainly changed.
Right. Caretaker said this all happened after your siesta. What spooky castle would be complete without its own Babylonian demon-powered furnace?
Sumerian fire demon. His name is Babs.
Oh, now it all makes sense. Well, once you get past the esoteric terror of the situation, I've found this thing actually has some uses. Molecular bonding, breaking down evil gamma serums, fashion accessorizing.
Yes, speaking of...
Oh, right. It's ready.
Your armor seemed to offer minimal protection against the venom creature.
I noticed.
Yeah, I thought you could use an upgrade.
Well hammered, well fired. Caretaker did not mention that you two are such skilled smithies.
Yep. I am Iron Smithy.
Perhaps you should just try it on. Still think it could have used a cloak.
Cloaks are acceptable.
Stylish, damn near indestructible, and we even got the size right. Not bad for our first collaboration.
I hate to admit it, but somehow this ancient forge puts any arc reactor I've got to shame. Who would have thought mystically bound demon power would be so damn energy efficient? Or carbon neutral?
Certainly got that new suit of yours done a lot faster than I expected. Speaking of, what's the verdict, boss?
It is nice having an armorer on demand.
Anytime. I tried to make this version a little less palatable to that symbiote thing. Was this close to making it menthol flavored. But tools are just one part of the equation. You gotta know how to use them too. You were out, what, 300 years before we woke you from your eternal rest? I'm betting you have questions, so ask away, Hunter.
I take it this new version is a technological marvel?
Impact-resistant carbon composites, some patent-pending alloy mesh, and a few touches from Dr. Spooky over there. And hey, the built-in communicator means we can talk to each other without sending a raven.
So it is a marvel, then?
Lightweight, nearly indestructible, and modular enough for future upgrades. Frankly, I wouldn't have used your old suit to wax the Mandarin's car.
Is all this magic a threat to your new technology?
It might surprise some people to hear this, but I do like some things with rules. Isotope decay, magnetic fields, and gamma oscillation make a lot more sense to me than Eye of Newt, bat wings, and a sprinkle of sunshine. At least they did before everything changed.
But you and the Doctor seem to work well together.
Well, no need to put a label on things. The guy is good at making sense of this madness every now and then. He's not talking to his cape.
Seen anything strange around here?
What, other than my roommate? Boom! Roasted! But on a more serious note, this place is legitimately haunted. Mirrors look back at you. My room rearranges itself. And worst of all, magic cats.
Was it suspiciously elusive, even for a cat?
Actually, yes. Thought I was going crazy there for a second, but clearly I'm still firing on all cylinders. It just poofed in next to me out in the yard. Small, black, furry. Cute little thing. Probably some kind of shape-shifting monster knowing this place.
What sort of things are you doing in here?
Oh, that's right. You were out a while. Basically, we've got a gigantic demon inside the magic box here that provides near limitless power for whatever we might need. Sounds insane, but sometimes it's easier to just go with it.
Right.
Okay. So, why not magically create a way through that symbiote shield?
Have you ever known it to work that way? We can't just wish upon a star here. We need to know what we're making first and put together the right components. Otherwise, I'd have already whipped up Strange a new personality.
You must have an interesting origin story of your own.
Well, just your typical American boy. Pops was a founding member of the military-industrial complex. Mom, a famous socialite. Tragedy struck when I lost them both in a car crash, which turned out to be a hit from a rival corporation. I spent my early teens at MIT, trying to clear my head. It was all set to follow in Dad's footsteps as a war profiteer. Then one day, fortune shined on me, in the form of some errant shrapnel that lodged itself just above my heart. So I did what anybody in that situation would do. I built a supersuit and started fighting crime.
Makes sense.
I guess we have all had difficult childhoods here.
Yeah, no kidding. I can't tell you how hard it was to memorize all that at Skrull Sleeper Camp. Just kidding. Or am I?
Thanks for catching me up on things.
Anytime. Oh, and speaking of things, remember that creepy gamma goop you found from that hopped-up Hydra soldier? Well, I gave it a peek, and it explains a lot. If you have a minute, meet me at the anvil over there, and I'll walk you through it. I promise it'll be worth your time.
Hunter, your new attire suits you quite well. But how are you holding up on the inside? I know it's easy to look upon me and simply see the universe's utmost authority on all things mystical and macabre, Hunter. However, in addition to being Earth's Sorcerer Supreme, I am also your doctor.
You mean a physician of the medical arts? You jest.
I assure you, Hunter, I do not jest. They don't call me Mr. Strange, now do they? Except for Tony. Your awakening ritual was admittedly a touch more chaotic than I had originally intended, and after a violent encounter with Venom, my oath to Hippocrates compels me to check in with you. Simply put, how do you feel?
You lost much yesterday, Doctor. I am the one who should be asking you how you are feeling.
I appreciate that, Hunter. I admit I did not expect the child of Lilith to have the capacity for such empathy. And you're right, of course. I, for one, do not know if I will ever feel 100% again after the events of yesterday. I still can't believe what transpired. The sanctum, all that knowledge, Wanda, lost. Swallowed whole by the black mouth of that foul venom creature. With all my resources, all my gifts, I should have seen this outcome spelled out in the sacred geometry of this universe years ago. But I miscalculated.
Lilith's power has placed a dark shroud over us all, Doctor. You are not alone in this.
Your words are appreciated. Still, I must not allow the underlying truth of the situation to become shrouded as well. It's not just the Sanctum Sanctorum that was lost yesterday. It was my protege, Wanda. She is my charge, my responsibility, and I failed her.
Yeah, Wanda's kind of important.
I am determined not to let that happen with you, Hunter, which is why I am here to answer any questions you may have. Perhaps my wisdom may benefit you more than it has me thus far.
A creature on the roof. You have run into it before.
Unfortunately, yes. In the simplest of terms, Venom is an alien species living in symbiosis with a human known as Eddie Brock. He's something of a fixture in New York these days, but typically his hijinks are confined to harassing Spider-Man.
It sounds like Spider-Man is Venom's nemesis. Maybe he has some insight.
Of course. I have no doubt Spider-Man will prove to be an invaluable asset in the ongoing fight against both Venom and Lilith.
Tell me about your Sanctum's wards of protection. I have never heard of a protection spell that powerful.
In your time, I'm sure you've encountered a variety of minor wards and protective spells. The Sanctum Sanctorum was shielded by one such incantation, but greatly amplified by the convergence of ley lines.
Will the wards ever provide the same protection that they had?
It may be possible to undo the damage, but now that a weakness has been exposed, I'll have to rethink my approach entirely. Tony did offer a military-grade laser protection grid, should I be so inclined to go that route.
How did Wanda come into your care?
Wanda's story is quite tragic, and perhaps not mine to tell. There was an accident on the Abbey grounds not long ago involving Agatha.
I feel like everyone is avoiding mention of Agatha.
I can't say I'm surprised, but I'm afraid it's really not my place. You should speak to Sarah about her when you're ready.
Let us talk later.
Visit whenever you like. It's not often I get to converse with a true legend.
Now, I doubt advanced gamma thermodynamics was a hot topic at Ye Olde Demon Hunting School, so I'm just gonna give you the condensed version.
I appreciate that.
Closest I've ever seen to this substance is pumping through Bruce's veins. Part gamma accelerant, part unknown element. Calling it Coil for now, given its unique atomic structure. Man, I love acronyms. This stuff is more volatile than Nick Fury on a Monday morning. But Hydra doesn't seem to mind.
They're using it to get stronger.
Exactly. A few drops would make your average salamander look like Fin Fang Foom. Thankfully, with a little help from Dr. Spooky and our haunted oven over here, I think two can play at this game.
You are not suggesting we start injecting ourselves with it?
No, nothing like that. Though I can see some future applications for my energy drink line. I was thinking we apply this stuff towards upgrading our equipment.
I like where this is going.
Just give me a little time here and I can whip up some pretty fun toys. How about we give Hydra a taste of their own gamma-powered medicine for a change? Okay, what's up?
Stark can use the coil material recovered in combat to create hero abilities. Only one of the abilities on offer can be selected, so
Big
choose
Tony's Forge of
wisely.
Mystery, we never close. What do you think?
Hunter, when you have a minute, come meet me in the yard.
Gain the copy of the currently equipped item. The yard duplicate abilities can be combined into new, more powerful versions. The blade in the yard. Brother Pieter is constantly texting me, still alive, yes, keep it up. That was the plan, now repeat that 1,000,000 times every day. He cares, but I get you. Just have to, don't forget to drink water. He thinks I'm a plant. Brother and I can adopt you into our family. Gabe wouldn't mind a cool sister, at least until Pieter figures out how humans interact. Does that include pancakes for every meal? I can do breakfast pancakes. I'll add weekend waffles, but Gabe always gets first pick. Deal. And welcome to the family. Heroes must have 8 abilities equipped in their combat decks. Equip a new ability must first unequip ability you wish to replace. Choosing abilities from 3 distinct branches of light, dark, or power. A hunter can be strong support hero, devastating damage dealer, or nearly anything in between. Ability branches, the hunter has more ability to choose from the other heroes. Abilities are divided into 3 branches, light, dark, and power. Abilities offer squad support through healing and heroism. Dark abilities damage or control the hunter's enemies, often at the cost of the hunter and their allies. And the power branch makes the hunter a more well-rounded fighter, offering offensive and defensive abilities. Hunter can specialize in a single branch, or pick and choose abilities from every branch to customize. Alright, fine. Getting a look at this place. Just with vials. Wooden chest with brass hardware containing glass vials.
Intriguing.
Clutter table. Desk clutter with books. Some of them are older than you. And you are quite old. Moon. Moon Knight hides his true identity behind his cloak and shadow. Card represents deception, also creativity in the unconscious. I've collected 1 of the tarot cards.
Interesting.
Orb of Agamotto. Strangest Orb of Agamotto. With a few artifacts recovered from the Sanctum Sanctorum. A powerful energy emanates from the inside of the orb, and it seems to rotate indefinitely.
Fascinating.
Strange's Cape. One of Strange's capes suspended in an ornate glass cage, or case. The cape floats in the air, rippling slightly through the air. The star. Nova rises up in the starry night sky, surrounded by stars that represent the support of the future. Card symbolizes serenity and hope for the future. Okay, 22 tarot cards and 1,200 journals. Tony's armor. One of Tony's many Iron Man suits, polished to a high gloss. The lid is powered off. Eyes seem to follow you.
Later.
Huh. Picked up some gloss. Picked up a frame of some kind. It's an attack essence. Caretaker's journal. A couple of witches from across the sea is sent for our help. I regret I cannot do more, but Lilith and I are stretched to our limits. I've sent the Moon Seal to their home in Salem by way of the Knights of Wundagore. I have no doubt this will take care of the troubles that they face.
Welcome to the Yard. At least that's what we're calling it these days. Caretaker put me in charge of your training. Too bad she didn't listen to me yesterday. Now that we know what we're up against, I think we can all use the practice. Any questions?
I did, but they are about you.
Right when it's time to train? From all Sarah told us about you, she never described you as lazy.
Everyone loves you when you are dead. Tell me, does that mean you are half-loved?
She didn't describe you as a snarky jackass, but here we are. All right, Tony Stark Jr., ask your questions.
Can I ask about you?
I guess.
Is your name really Blade?
Is your name really the Hunter?
Yes.
Oh, really? Your mom, before she became the mother of demons, looked into your cradle and decided to name her firstborn child the Hunter.
That is how I understand it.
It takes all kinds.
So,
Very choppy in the
is your
background.
name really Blade?
No,
What is it?
it's private.
Is it embarrassing?
No, the Hunter, but I only share it with friends.
You do not consider me a friend?
Not yet. Don't take it personally.
How did you become a Dampier?
You say that like I had a choice. I was born this way.
How is that possible?
A vampire bit my mother. Problem was, I was still in the womb. I'm lucky I was even born. Don't know if that's how it always is, but that's the way it went down for me.
How long have you been around?
I don't exactly know. I think of myself as mid-20s, maybe. I lost a lot of time. Much of the last century was a blur. I have occasional memories, almost like coming up for air before being yanked back down into the depths.
What happened?
I killed a lot of vampires. I hadn't lost my mind exactly, but I got into a rhythm and never stopped. Never had a reason to stop. Not until I met Caretaker.
And then?
She gave me a reason to stop.
One wonders what that is.
What brought you to the Abbey?
Caretaker. About 10 years ago, she brought me back to the real world. Gave me a place to stay until I came back to myself.
Did she ever say why?
She said she thought I'd be able to kill more vampires if I was acting on more than just instinct. But I know it was more than that. She gave me safe haven here at the Abbey. Something I'd never known. Must have read half the books in the library by the time I headed out. So when she reached out and asked me to be part of this weird little club, of course I showed up.
Tell me about the Midnight Suns.
All right.
Why did you join? Vampire hunting is a solitary affair.
Guess I never found the right team.
Is that all?
No, but that's all I'll share for now. You really want to know? Put in the work. If I trust you, I'll have more to say.
What can you tell me about the others?
Nothing. Ask them yourself.
I'm not asking you to break anyone's confidence.
Fine. Which one?
Tell me about Nico.
She's the youngest, but she acts like she's in charge.
Why let her act like that?
She's usually right, and she keeps us on track. I didn't think we'd get along, but we wouldn't be the Midnight Suns without her.
What makes you say that?
She has a lot of heart, and that's why we let her. Who else?
What about Robbie?
He's exactly what he seems. Well, sort of. He's open with people, easygoing. Sometimes that comes across as dopey, but don't get the wrong impression. He's quick to make friends, and once he does, he's your friend for life. So don't let him down, or I'll hold it against you. Anybody else?
What do you know about magic?
Keeps to herself.
That is it?
She's a private person. Until she lets you in, that's all you need to know.
When does she let people in?
At her own pace. Respect that, and it'll happen faster than you think. Anybody else?
Tell me what you think of Sarah.
Well, there are a few people I tolerate, even less who I like. Sarah, I respect. She sees the big picture, and we're a part of it. I'd follow her to hell if I had to. And from what I understand, we may have to.
I am surprised she commands such respect.
I'm surprised that you're surprised. You know what she's like more than any of us.
I do.
Anyone else?
Nobody else.
Sure.
Do you have any thoughts on the team as a whole?
I think we're the only ones aware of the danger Lilith poses to this world. And I think we're pretty green. But enough training will get us through it. Speaking of training, we doing this, or are we gonna keep wasting daylight?
I am ready to train.
Finally. No pain, no gain.
The hero possesses 2 copies of an ability. They can be combined to create a new, more powerful version.
Later. Peace. Hunter. What's up?
Thanks, Glade.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Like the way you move out there, Hunter. Guess Dr. Strange picked the right supernatural demon hunter to resurrect. I'm Carol Danvers. You can call me Captain Marvel. Kidding. Carol's fine. Just thought I'd throw a bone to the Avengers PR team. Not gonna lie, going a few rounds in Vampire Guy's Magic Thunderdome sounds like fun, but we've got bigger fish to fry. Well, not so much fish as that ginormous invulnerable sewer monster that swallowed the Sanctum.
Quite.
The Venom creature surprised me before. He will not do so again.
That thing's tougher than a Flurkin furball. You better steer clear of him and his creepy slime shield for a while. Strange, Caretaker, and the rest of the funky bunch can try and magic their way through that shield all they want. If my time as a pilot taught me one thing, it's that sometimes you've got to find a workaround. As in Hydra. They've got to know the way inside. Steve's always said they aren't much for talking. But then again, I'm told I can be rather persuasive when I need to be.
Well, if there is any time to put your powers of persuasion to work, now is the time, Captain.
Trust me, Hunter, I'm looking forward to it. Hydra's been a thorn in me and Steve's asses for years. Can't wait to remove them for good. Find me in the war room when you're finished here. There's a few things we should discuss. Oh, and Hunter? Welcome back from the dead.
Can't wait to pound some steel. Gonna glue my lats 3 times as big. That's what Robbie sounds like every time he hits the weights.
¿Qué pasa, Hunter? Probably time to head out, right?
Right now, I'm trying to... Missions for the Abbey can be interacted with. Paintings can be removed from the frames with small glass cost. Paintings in your inventory can be placed in empty frames for free.
Good girl, Charlie.
Can you pet the dog? This is important. Hunter's quarters upgrade complete. There is now a writing desk. No Raven in sight. Yet.
What's good?
Nothing is certain these days, but these readings are too distinct to ignore. The Gamma signature is...
Sorry, Bruce, we lost you. Did you say Gamma?
He does like to say Gamma.
Hang on a second. Come on, Tony. You managed to stream the Super Bowl to a Kree battleship 50 light years out. This should be easy.
Oh, we waited all year for that game, and you know the Skrulls would have spoiled it for us if they got the chance.
Well, can't you just... I don't know.
Work my magic again? See, that's the problem. This time I am working with actual magic, and let me tell you, it sucks. Hello?
All right. All right, give me a moment. I'll be right back.
Is there something you wanted to tell me?
Yes, let's go.
The Gamma signature is completely inverted. The daughter nuclei are being reabsorbed into the parent nuclei, which is impossible.
If the gamma signature from the Sanctum is really that unique, Bruce, then couldn't we just...
Sorry, still working out a few gremlins in the system.
Try sunlight, and whatever you do, avoid water.
Wait, you're being serious?
We should be able to track this new gamma signature to its source then, right? I'd do it myself, but we seem to be having a little IT trouble today.
Please. Old Central here is ready to grind through that data like chum.
What exactly is a central?
CENTRAL. Cognitive encryption, net transmogrification. We'll figure it out later.
Sending coordinates now. Hope your gremlins enjoy gamma spectroscopy.
Well, he's been a little moody lately, ever since, you know, the problem with the big old green guy.
I heard that.
Banner can't turn into the Hulk? Not sure if we should be frightened or relieved.
Little column A, little column B.
Hey, come on. Happens to everyone. Well, okay, not everyone.
Nice work, Bruce.
I know that place. Creepy abandoned warehouse in the bad guy part of town.
My favorite kind. Anybody up for paying it a visit?
Definitely.
Aw, see that? Teamwork goosebumps.
Find me when you're ready.
Multi-million-dollar piece of experimental technology, and she kicks it.
You're just lucky Tony knows how to reach me. It's hard to explain exactly how far out I was in terms of this space-time.
Faustian Bargain.
It was just recently that the Hudson Yards Development Restoration Association purchased this entire block. I'll let you think about that one for a minute.
Let's see. Trench coat.
To the portal limbo.
Reading personality. Probably these midnight warehouse raids are pretty normal.
Gamma signatures and unstable isotopes aren't really in my wheelhouse, so we'll be patching Dr. Banner through from Avengers Tower once you reach the other side.
So this isn't Hell's Kitchen,
Probably
is
could
it?
scratch abandoned off the description of this place. You seeing this, Bruce? Getting all sorts of weird down there.
Johann Fenhoff. That hack. I heard he was dead. Well, hoped is perhaps a more accurate description.
Calls himself Faustus now.
Smartest fanatic in the room. It's a small room. Dr. Faustus.
Hydra's resident mad scientist.
Not just Hydras. Lilith's. That's magic coming from those crates. I can feel it.
Yeah? How about gamma radiation? You feeling that too? Because that's some pretty evil-looking Hydra tech down there.
Gamma and magic.
Some gamma magic.
Gonna need you to use your science brain on this one, Bruce.
We need to approach this situation carefully. Combining those energies is an explosive proposition at best. Think scalpel, not hammer. Stealth, not strength.
Yeah, I don't do stealth.
Kill them.
Yeah, this is why we like having. Captain Marvel is a blunt instrument. Deal enemies to complete the encounter.
I always considered Faustus a bit of a crackpot, but his fundamental science must be sound. The device would have surely exploded otherwise after your display, Carol.
Learned it by watching you, Bruce.
Recon movement here!
Teach me that one. Don't play. Ought to make things interesting. This is gonna hurt. Still in my prime.
Forever in service.
Luckily, I'm a glutton for punishment.
Additional Hydra forces en route.
Incoming.
Get ready.
Wait, assess the entire battlefield and the condition of enemy units. Activate tactics by
I've never
pressing
been one to
L2.
buy into the science of magic, but the data I'm seeing is hard to ignore. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio.
You know you're talking to a vampire, an alien hybrid, and a resurrected demon hunter, right?
Hail that!
No mercy for the servants of Lilith. Weak, even for Hydra.
Hey, nothing personal, alright?
I feel
5
more like
enemies
myself every day.
killed by one attack.
You are lucky to still be breathing.
Position compromised.
time.
Awaiting reinforcements.
Reinforcements incoming.
Is it possible he somehow stabilized the rate of decay within the particles themselves? How else could he be achieving such a high yield?
I don't know, Bruce. I'll be sure to ask him when we're done punching out the bad guys.
Should get the blood pumping. Watch me.
Now that was something.
Get some. Give the mother my regards in hell.
Hold the light's gift. The advantage is mine.
Watch close. Your mother.
Quite. Objective complete.
Go, now, quickly!
Let's go, go, go!
The perfect opportunity to field test Mother's device.
Watch out!
Get her!
We'll reserve all of that. Recover artifact. Recover a Hydra artifact. Retrieve the mysterious artifact from the truck. Break the Hydra shield guard's protection to access the truck. Use a recover artifact card to secure the artifact.
For the record, Bruce, I did not smash that thing.
Noted, Carol. Perhaps you might direct all that energy towards your
Any
newfound
objective that is
adversaries
protected cannot be
instead.
completed.
And the mysterious
Reduce
cargo
the
they're
Hydra
attempting to escape with?
Reduce the Hydra shield guard's block to 0 in order to break protection.
Let's get this started.
Watch and learn. Sure I can't change your mind?
Come get it. And I thought Man-Thing was ugly.
I'm impressed.
Dr. Marvel can now go binary. Playing 3 Captain Marvel cards will draw the Go Binary ability. In her binary state, Captain Marvel will deal significantly more damage. Captain Marvel will lose her binary status once all of her block has been removed.
Payback's gonna be fun.
Keep trying. Maybe you'll get lucky.
Reinforcements incoming.
Preliminary analysis of the blast confirms high levels of gamma and various unknown energies.
Unknown to you. There is dark magic at work here. We must not let Hydra escape with it.
Supply crate has been recovered. Defeat the remaining enemies to complete one
Less
mission.
thing to worry about. Approximately 16,342 more to go. I suggest starting with the remaining Hydra.
Feeling strong today.
Is that truly your best?
Card play refunded.
You have earned this. Hydra's standards have fallen a great deal.
Hydra's in control of the situation. We're all gonna get... You're gonna remember me.
Is that really your best?
To be crystal clear, we won't be able to recreate Faustus's experiment or track potential future variants' gamma signatures without a baseline resonant sample from his initial occult catalyst.
Got it. Stop the truck.
It's on.
They cannot possibly match your strength.
I'm on it. Think I can punch through a moon now?
Level up.
The battlefield is ours. Time for the real thing. Finally, it's my turn.
Ah, these delays can be quite frustrating. Infuriating, even. I suppose by now I'd normally be tromping through the warehouse hurling the puny truck at the moon.
Don't worry, Bruce. I've got a pair of torn purple pants with your name on them.
I saw a move like that once, centuries ago. Hail that! Your fate is sealed. You were too weak for this fight.
Objective complete.
We've done it!
Green fist for Bruce Banner.
What is this thing?
Bad guy crate. Full of bad guy stuff.
True.
I know those symbols. From the time of the first hunt. That glyph means barrier. That one, almighty. Something, something. Gods and demons.
So a spooky bad guy crate.
Indeed.
Very spooky. Designed to contain powerful magic. Be careful.
Got it. Don't cross the streams.
Never do. How about we get this thing back to the Abbey and see for ourselves?
Victory! Mission rating 2 stars.
Difficulty is too low. We need to win more to get a higher difficulty level.
+2 friendship
job
for
out
Captain
there,
Marvel
kid.
and Blade.
I mean, I didn't get Hydra bombed until my 10th run with the Avengers.
Kid, you do know that I'm a good 3 centuries older than you, right?
Then you've got a lot of catching up to do.
Okay, Abbey tournament tonight.
Sure about that? Last one got a little heated.
The Eternal Spirits of Vengeance take technical fouls very seriously, especially in the fourth quarter.
Forget it. Tonight is movie night.
It is always movie night.
Exactly.
Wow, out of jail again? Who made this game? Wilson Fisk?
Well, if parking is free, clearly no one from Manhattan.
You know what they say? All work and no play is how we ended up with Ultron. Come on. You should hang out.
I'm sorry, you're going to have to explain these references to me. I've been asleep for 3 centuries.
Should rest. Another time. Let me see. How did this work again?
Nico sent you a message. Superlink with the strategy pause menus using that, and then L1 to get super night, and then R2 to check the messages. Hunter, are you there? By the way, this is Nico. In case nobody gave you the rundown of how Spark works, Blade and Cat Marv just filled us in. Freaky stuff, especially Faustus. Now just left me alone here. You should come hang out.
Good. You answered. Getting hard to keep finding ways to say open door around here. And despite what Robbie says, I don't think the staff of one speaks High Elven. Blood magic stuff. Cool room. Spacious. Aw, is that bed for Charlie?
Yes?
So, if you're planning on giving me some sort of brooding code of the stoic warrior speech, I'm immune. Just ask later, Magic. From what I just saw out there, whatever crazy ancient living weapons stuff Caretaker put you through back in the day did a real number on you. We got a lot of work to do.
Work?
Yeah, talking to people, making friends, basic human stuff. Or quasi-human. You're a Midnight Sun now. One of us.
Nico, I was just Hydra bombed. I could use some rest.
You and me both. Been bad dreams every night for me lately. I keep seeing Wanda. She... Never mind.
I will meet you outside.
Yes! I'll go nuke us some popcorn and you pick out a movie. Oh, and it may just be the two of us. The others went outside, needed to cool off. Really need to hang a fan over that forge. Or maybe crack open the casket of ancient wonders a little?
Okay.
Curious.
I'm kind of getting the impression Doctor Strange is a little bit of a hoarder. I mean, just because it's magical junk doesn't mean it's not junk. You know what they call an artifact that only works in a pocket dimension once every 10,000 years? I don't know either, because I don't hoard junk.
I picked up a goblet. Give me a moment. I need to go exploring.
Don't mind me, I'm just doing a fetch quest for myself. Caretaker's Journal. The Abbey, Tristian home to Salem. In fact, I'm astounded by the natural beauty of the place. There's no time for sentiment. We have a job to do. Capone has found influence here in the Hiram Shah through the page of the Darkhold. Moon Seal not bring the witches the protection it should have. Several been killed already. No telling how far this dark power could go. For now, we watch from the safety of the Abbey, hidden away amongst the thick woodland. We must understand what it is that we face. I'll talk to you in a moment, ma'am. Prototypical follower. Gladstofter Faustus. I'm looking for goodies. Caretaker's Journal. Try to remind myself that 16 is a young age for so much power, but I still lose my temper at times. This child, nearly grown, is rapidly progressing. The training goes well, and I'm optimistic on how we'll be able to combat Lilith in the future, but there have been many outbursts. If we cannot control them, I worry that we may face some unfortunate collateral damage. It sounds so harsh to put these words on page, but this is the reality that I must face. Agatha and I have discussed options for controlling this power, but nothing has worked just yet. My latest attempt is to forge a ward to be worn around the neck. And if I succeed, it will only help the child channel this energy. It will not only help him channel this energy, it acts as a shield against detection by Lilith and her minions. Only time will tell. More arcane knowledge. So I'll go talk to you for movie night sometime else. Midnight Sun's mystery. We've collected a masterwork. In addition to the paintings already hanging in the Abbey walls, masterworks can be found scattered through the Abbey grounds. Masterworks can be hung in an empty frame inside the Abbey. Don't mind me, I'm just searching for invisible walls, because there should be things hiding in them. Or near them. Or by them. Around them? Was ist das? This will probably mean something later. I'm unable to jump. There's some wolfsbane. Oh yeah, this is all sealed off. Oh. Interesting. We can't inspect that. What shrine was that? Agatha's shrine. Well, that's something I'm going to be very interested in. But I can look at it, and that's final. Don't think so curious, dang it. Yeah, we can leave that up.
As long as Caretaker doesn't come up with some busy work in the meantime, I'm perfectly fine here at home.
Looking for an empty frame. I'm looking for an empty frame. Somewhere around here's an empty frame. I'm looking for an empty frame.
What is this?
5 symbols arranged in a row. The order's probably important. Okay, game. I'll take your hint. Strength. Electrical energy erupts around Thor as he wields Mjolnir. This card represents great courage and taking control of one's destiny. Alright, let's go looking for this crap. Wild cliffs. Oyster mushrooms. The damsel and something else. Hunter's Folly. What was that? What? Okay, well, you don't want to show me. Fine then, keep your secrets. Way too early in the game for this to actually do anything just yet. But you know, curiosity and the cat and all of that. So are we going to be able to actually read this note that you've given me, or is this just a big secret? I don't see anything around these parts just yet. Not anything. I've already paid my respects, right? Yeah. Don't mind me, I'm just antisocial.
Something tells me you don't have a favorite movie. Well, we can start you out with one of my favorites.
Friendship XP games. Watching a movie.
I know this entire situation's gotta suck for you. Not just the whole resurrected, chosen one thing. I get why facing Lilith won't be easy. I was 15 when I found out my mother was capital E evil.
Sorry to hear you went through that.
It was bad, but I learned to deal with it. It's the only way forward, right? Look, I'm glad my mother is gone, but Yeah, at times I just want to hear her voice again. Some days I'd give anything to make that happen. Makes me hate her even more.
I did not realize you carried such pain.
I just learned to bury it. You think I can afford a therapist on a superhero salary? I'm kidding. We don't get paid for this. Enough about our crappy parents. You missed out on decades of good movies. It's my solemn duty to fill this knowledge gap with the best examples I can provide. So, the first thing you need to know, the glowing briefcase is a metaphor.
Okay.
Can we do it again? So, what did you think of the movie?
I understood more than I should.
How? You've been dead for 3 centuries.
I'm not so sure I was dead. Not exactly. I recall a deep slumber, not the void. I dreamt.
Of what?
Of everything. Much of this world is familiar to me. I know it from my dreams.
That's not creepy at all. So, do you know everything?
No, think of it like this. I know what a car is, but I have no idea how to drive.
You're up to date, but not omniscient. Then I'm guessing you don't know much about me.
Just what you shared earlier.
You're always free to ask. Like, what's the Staff of One? Or who were the Runaways?
I had some questions about your staff.
Sure. But first, the basics. The Staff of One interprets words or phrases as spells, but it can only cast a spell once. No repeats.
If each magical effect is unique, do you worry you will run out of words?
Not really. I only use the staff's power when I truly need it. The rest of the time, I rely on more conventional means. Like, you know, magic.
I had some questions about your staff.
Go for it.
If each magical effect is unique, do you worry you will run out of...
Like...
I had some questions about your...
Go...
Can you tell me how the Staff of One functions?
It's, blood magic, so my own blood is required to summon it. You wouldn't believe how many adhesive bandages I go through each year.
What about the words you speak?
They come true. Kind of. And not always the way I expect. It's like making a wish, but you can never make the same wish again.
I had some questions about your old team.
The Runaways? Sure thing.
Were you all heroes who banded together?
No, we were normal kids. We saw each other once a year when our parents got together to reminisce. And then we found out 2 very disturbing things. First, our parents were supervillains who sacrificed children to evil gods. Second, each of us had some sort of powerful birthright. Our parents wanted us to follow in their footsteps.
And what did you do?
We ran, but eventually we realized only the 6 of us could stop our parents and their dark gods, so we faced them and stopped them from destroying reality as we know it. You know, typical kid stuff.
Who was on the team?
At first, Chase with his mad science gear, Molly, our pint-sized powerhouse, Carolina, the solar-powered sweetheart. Gert had a telepathic link to Old Lace, a genetically engineered Deinonychus from the 87th century. I handled the blood magic, though I didn't understand it much. And Alex, well, we don't talk about Alex.
Where are your friends now?
Molly attends Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. Carolina left Earth to marry alien nobility. Gert, she didn't make it. After Gert passed, Chase and I had a falling out. Last I heard, he and Old Lace are living at his family home in LA. As for Alex, he chose his side, and it wasn't ours. He died with our parents.
I should get going.
Good timing. Looks like Caretaker wants to speak with you, and wow, I should get to bed. Time flies when you're hanging out.
I'm glad to see you're using your free time productively. Looks like you're finding your way around. Maybe making some new friends.
I was planning on getting some rest, but...
Things are moving at a frantic pace. For all we know, I'll be landing a jet on the roof with Mr. Stark this afternoon. Not quite like it was in the good old days.
I remember many sleepless nights and blood-soaked days. Always on the hunt.
I'll give you that. But there were times back then I wouldn't trade for anything. With both you and...
Agatha. Where is Agatha?
Some memorial.
I am sorry. I should have had this talk with you much sooner. But you should know... Agatha... She's no longer with us.
What? That is impossible. She was so...
Fierce, indomitable,
powerful,
or maybe just kind to a fault.
You do not have to do this.
Thank you, but I do. I haven't spoken to anyone about what happened. And more so than anyone, you deserve to know. Agatha died in an accident caused by her protege, Wanda Maximoff. The Scarlet Witch. The Midnight Sun's latest recruit. A powerful spellcaster in her own right. Perhaps the most powerful Agatha and I had ever seen. Wanda's abilities were growing. Too quickly for my liking. Agatha was determined to help her control them. I tried to caution her, but she would not listen. There was an incident. An accident, I'm sure, but...
Agatha was killed.
Yes, incinerated in an instant. Not even ash to remember her by. The others were heartbroken, as was I. But I also saw the danger, the threat, if Wanda's powers were left unchecked. So I did what needed to be done. I sent Wanda away, to the Sanctum Sanctorum, to study under Dr. Strange. I know the others still harbor a great deal of resentment towards me for it.
Was Wanda so different from me as a child? Was it that easy to send her away?
I didn't have a choice. Wanda's powers were beyond even her own control. And this time I had no Agatha to help me, as I had with you. I thought she would be safe with Strange. On that part, at least, I was clearly mistaken. Ah, Wanda. Agatha. It seems we've lost them both now. I conjured a small shrine to Agatha's memory on the grounds, hoping to find some solace, a way to move forward. You should pay your respects. Maybe you'll find what I couldn't. Good night, Hunter.
I did, in fact, find that. Hunter can follow the path of light or dark through the choices that they make in the Abbey and the abilities they have in combat. Powerful rewards can be unlocked as Hunter moves down either path. Sprinting. L3 to sprint. You can sprint while outside the Abbey grounds. That's good to know. Hello there.
Agatha.
You always did have the most remarkable eyes, Hunter. Just like your mother's. Maybe that's why you're the first.
The first?
To commune with the spirits, of course.
Is this a trick of some kind? Because I am not amused.
No, it's no trick, dear. You're just the first to see me. By now you've heard I had a bit of trouble with my corporeal body. I actually find it quite liberating.
You are dead.
Always straight to the heart of things. That's my Hunter.
You seem strangely at ease about this whole thing.
After 1,000 years of living, you learn to take things in stride. Even death.
And what have you been doing all this time?
Meet me by the cave just over there. You know the one.
The Bloodgate? Caretaker always told me to stay away from that place.
I think we can safely lift the veil on a few more of our secrets. What's the worst that can happen?
Famous last words. Alright. I have to pet the dog. Come here, dog. No? Fine.
This ominous-looking portal is known as a Bloodgate, and you're the only one among us who can pass through it.
Bloodgate? Caretaker's handiwork?
Yes, Sarah got a little overprotective after the accident with Wanda. It's become something of a habit for her.
I have noticed that.
What lies beyond is meant for you, as much as it ever was for her. Assuming you're up to the challenge, that is.
You know I am.
I do. But it's always polite to ask.
Whoa.
The portal awaits.
Trial of the Elder Gods. Oshtur. Awaited locations barred. Submitted player level 1, current player level 3. Begin.
Expecting, is it? There was a time when the blood stood within these celestial halls to prove their worth. This particular arena belongs to a goddess who often favored Sarah, Ashtur.
Sarah, Caretaker, was here?
Nothing ever comes easy, dear. The Elder Gods felt their descendants needed to earn their blessings, which is why they created these trials to begin with.
Trials? I should.
This entire realm exists for that purpose. Trial by combat, with no chance of outside interference.
And this is my challenge.
Yes, but I may have found a loophole they never considered. Why don't you try summoning your four-legged friend?
Excellent.
Charlie?
Oh.
The old gods are responsible for a great many creations, including your faithful companion. I think even they tend to forget that. Good luck, dear. Or at least her idea of one.
Now that was something.
I hear it quickly.
You were too weak for this fight.
rest. Leave some for the rest of us. I saw a move like that once, centuries ago. Your mother abandoned you. They cannot possibly match your strength. I saw a move
Quantity
like
is
that once,
quality.
centuries ago.
Good girl, Charlie. Oh, and you too, Hunter. You finished this trial, but don't worry. The other gods are waiting.
Victory! 3-star mission rating. Finished in 1 turn. Wanda's journal. Agatha just as surprised as I was when it happened. Those shrines out on the grounds, the blood magic, you're not supposed to just walk right in there, but once again, well, here we are. She told me not to worry, but how could I not worry, trying to gain the blessing of Ashtur without facing her trial? I didn't even know what she was looking for, really, just some way I could help. Whatever, at least now I can get into Magic's room whenever she locks me out.
This looks like it.
Ashtur's gift. Word of power. Ashtur's gift allows magical locks and gates to be opened. Open will allow you to access new areas of the Abbey and its grounds, which are locked by magical means.
Sarah was right to be wary of this place. But it's your birthright, and I think after everything you've been through, you can handle it now. The two of you, as well as your mother, are the last of your kind, the Blood. Your lineage follows an unbroken line to the old gods themselves. And if you call upon them, you might just find they're actually listening. They won't work miracles for you, but their blessings can be quite useful in the right circumstance. Why don't you ask the goddess Ashtur for her aid in dealing with that barrier over there?
Open the gate using a word of power. Alright. Let's get up the only way we can. Words of power are magical incantations the hunter can use in the Abbey grounds. Use a word of power, hold R2.
The goddess of order approves.
After all this time, it's still just as beautiful as the first time I laid eyes on it. It's hard to believe Lilith and Caretaker brought this place all the way from Transia. Of course, it was no coincidence that they wound up so close to Salem. This area is particularly attuned to the forces of magic.
That's why the Elder God's influence was so prevalent here. And why our sanctuary here has remained all but impregnable over the centuries. And now I'm rambling on like an old sorcerer supreme. Why don't you come see me in the library tomorrow night?
Sure.
Oh, and let's keep this just between the two of us for now. I'm afraid Sarah, caretaker, isn't ready to see me yet. Good night, Hunter.
I mean, it seems like it's almost morning. Plush dog bed. 100 quarter upgrade complete. Wall frames A. 100 quarter upgrade complete. Wall frame B. 100 quarter upgrade complete.
That looks good. Very nice.
Supposed to have been added to the super link. I feel like we should be worried about this. I don't know enough about. Let's see. Koif scoffs at gamma drop off. I feel like you should be worried about this, but I don't know enough about gamma rays to understand why. Don't look at me. The only physics I care about is the ballistic nature. I know the basics, but now what's happening could be bad. It's simple particle physics. Care to explain? No, it would take too long, but you're right. We should be worried.
Is this thing on? Hunter, please come to the forge at your earliest convenience. Again, that's Hunter to the forge. Thank you. Strain.
Hunter, just in time. His royal weirdness and I were deciding what to do with that nasty little Hydra gift box you found.
Ah, yes. The spooky crate?
The very one. Though it is far from any mere container, I assure you. I am detecting powerful emanations from inside. If this is a sign of what Hydra is after, I fear we are all in grave danger.
My offer still stands. I could fly the thing up and nuke it in orbit. Only way to be sure.
Or we could open it, Tony, and perhaps use the mystical energies I sense inside to our advantage.
Yeah, I heard a "we" in there. Green goopy gamma serums are one thing. I'm not opening boxes full of mummy curses.
You don't have to. Hunter, if you'll allow me.
Your second funeral, boss.
There is my ferocious Charlie girl.
If Hydra is now working to acquire mystical antiquities, then our situation is very dire indeed. We need to find a way to gain the upper hand.
And you think you can do it with whatever's in the container?
Tony has one of the greatest scientific minds that I've ever seen. I, of course, have an unparalleled understanding of the mystic arts. I have no doubt that we can find a way to research whatever we find in there and have it work in our favor. I just wonder what it could be.
I hope the two of you create something powerful. I want to stop Lilith quickly and decisively.
As I said, I'm sure it can help us. I just need to convince Tony to set his ego aside. His discomfort with the esoteric nature of the arcane might be a problem.
But Tony's eccentricities aside, I know you can make this work.
Right now, with the sanctum out of my reach, I'm fighting with one hand tied behind my back. Metaphorically, that is. If I can find items to research, I can give the Midnight Suns every possible advantage over Lilith and her disciples.
I look forward to seeing what you come up with.
Me too, Hunter. Now, all this talk is going nowhere unless we can get this container open and study what's inside. Step up to the anvil, Hunter. It doesn't bite. Oh, and I was just about to binge-watch my stories.
Studying artifacts.
Fortunate that we haven't run into any curses yet.
Studying artifacts unlocks more powerful research projects at the Forge and generates significant resources for use in ability upgrades and crafting.
By the hoary hosts of Hoggoth, I can hardly believe it.
What? Is it worse than you expected?
No, it's totally unexpected. It's the Eternity Dagger. This was in a place of honor in my bedchamber in the Sanctum for years. The Sanctum Sanctorum is no common domicile to be burglared. These barbarians have no idea what they possessed.
Or perhaps they did. Maybe these artifacts are exactly what Faustus and my mother were after to begin with.
A distressing thought. If they had my dagger, then who knows what others of my priceless possessions have passed through their greedy fingers. The cube of nothingness. The tear of Profia, and most worrisome of all.
Your toothbrush? You, had a little coffee thing going on this morning with your breath?
Oh, Tony.
Sorry. Doc's right, Hunter. I drank 3 glasses of holy water just to walk through the Sanctum's front door. This is like a doomsday vault for all sorts of supernatural nastiness. We need to put a lid on this mess. Pronto.
I believe Carol is already working on it.
At last. Now that this artifact has been returned to its proper owner, we shall see if we can make use of the mystic forces contained within. A simple object, though certainly not useless.
Attack, heroic skill, and knife common artifact. The level increased. Which projects take 1 day to complete, but grant powerful rewards like room upgrades, combat items, and hero outfits. Supernatural fabrication. Okay, complete 1 mission with Doctor Strange. Complete 1 mission with Dr. Marvel. Blade. Blade the thing. War games. Carol says we need to up our game to meet this new threat. As usual, she's right. To do more in combat, we need to do more down in the Forge. A self-loading AI workstation running endless combat situations might help us make better use of this coil stuff. Start with war games. Research is now in progress. Return to the forge tomorrow morning for the results. Gamma coil analysis.
Okay, what's up? If this thing behind me turns into a giant gateway to ancient Egypt, What do you think?
Reveal new abilities. Get the Marvel ability. Make him bleed. Hero. Open the hero screen to equip this new ability. Hero screen can be opened at any time in the Abbey with equip and salvage. Items can be equipped or swapped with the cards already in the hero's combat deck. Any unused abilities should be salvaged for essence, which is required for upgrades, systems, and more. Okay.
Hey, Hunter. Got a sec to spare?
You've been here more in the past few days than I have since... ever. The forge is pretty badass, but the creature trapped inside riles up my own inner demon. Speaking of... there's something you should know about me.
You are bonded with a spirit of vengeance?
Damn, you're good. How could you tell?
You are not the first spirit of vengeance to join the Midnight Suns. I fought beside another, just a few days... 3 centuries ago.
Oh man, sometimes when I have crap to work through, I like to get my blood pumping. Why don't we hit the yard for a sparring session? I know Sparky's excited to meet you.
Sparky?
That's what I call my spirit of vengeance. His real name is something you'd see written on a symbol, but with like 12 apostrophes. Also, he's not allowed inside after the incident with caretaker Sumerian Sofa.
It would be my honor to spar with a spirit of vengeance.
Wow, he's real excited. Never thought he'd get bouncy, but here we are. Okay, let's do this. I'll get Blake to set things up. Won't take a minute.
I will head to the yard. When you and Sparky trade places, what does he look like?
Flaming skull.
He's the guy with the flaming metal skull and hellfire chains. Kinda hard to miss.
Indeed. Spar with the Ghost Rider. Any goodies to pick up?
Hunter, ready to get your burn on? I'm talking training with Ghost Rider.
Spirits of vengeance train the hardest. Like playing with fire.
Every day, the hunter can choose a new partner to spar with, resulting in increased friendship and unique rewards. Yes, indeed. What's up, Lotta Kid?
Maybe you should be the spirit of vengeance.
Barn complete. 1 training XP, 3 friendship XP, adaptive. Common combat bonus. Start the mission with 2
Hunter,
extra redraws.
Report to the war room. We've got a mission.
Alright, just a moment.
All right, then. Got a minute, Hunter?
Seems kind of choppy, doesn't it? No, I guess not. Okay. Awesome.
Crazy world you woke up to.
Welcome.
Hunter. Hydra running around causing trouble. Apocalypse prophecies. The Bronx.
It is indeed, Daywalker.
And that op against Faustus. The way Captain Marvel just absorbed that bomb. Unbelievable, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she is quite the marvel.
I see what you did there, and you're not wrong. Never met a gal who could throw me into the sun before.
She is a formidable ally in our struggle against Lilith.
Quite.
Hell yeah, she is. Smart, quick-witted, fearless. Hell, she even glows.
And do you find all of your allies equally impressive?
Yes. No. Wait. What are you trying to say?
Good question.
You are not used to expressing feelings of affection, are you?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
My apologies.
And if I did, this ain't my first rodeo, you know?
Of course it is not. Whatever a rodeo is.
Yeah. Well, now that that's settled, maybe I should go sharpen my stakes or something.
Definitely.
And maybe we should keep this chat to ourselves for now.
Fine. More friendship.
It's good to have you around again. Regardless of what Mr. Stark thinks, the mirror table was guiding our hand reliably for centuries before the advent of computers.
All right.
You called for me, Captain?
Keep telling ya, Carol works too, but yeah, I did. Now that Tony's finally starting to get a handle on his gremlin problem, I've been able to put Central to good use. Got a lead on some particularly gnarly Hydra operations happening in the city, but we need to move fast if we want to intercept them in time.
Then let's get going.
My thoughts exactly. There's just one problem, though. We seem to have lost our gatekeeper, Magic.
Oh, that is a problem.
Lost?
Well, I updated her on the mission. She said something I can only assume to be a prolific swear word in Russian and disappeared. Literally. And with no magic...
Right.
There's no passage to New York.
Quite.
Or anywhere, for that matter.
Indeed.
Now you see my problem.
Yes.
Do not worry, Captain. I will locate and alert her of the team's needs.
There's that can-do, get-it-done, old-timey prophesied savior of humanity attitude I was hoping to see today. Still, you better hurry. Not sure how long Hydra will remain in their current position.
And I shall make haste.
Yes, you hasten as much as you can, Hunter.
All right. Time to find Indiana. She's around here somewhere. Probably. Maybe. A bit. Okay. I wonder. Can I open this? I feel like I shouldn't be able to.
The goddess
Yep.
disagrees.
Yep. Okay. I thought I'd check. That's all. He's like, man, I think this is going to be something I can open. And the game's like, no, dude, what? No. We're currently searching the grounds for Ileana, so that if I hadn't been searching the night before, the game is now making me search. Because it's like, dude, you need to look around. Temperance. Cloak pours from the goblets into daggers, allowing the power between them to retain balance. This card represents harmony and creating something new through the combination. A Taroist, who knew? The Dusty Void. New haven discovered. There are numerous haven locations in the Abbey grounds. Once discovered, a haven can be used for a special daytime hangout with a hero where friendship rewards are increased. Each haven can only be used once. Each hero can only attend a single haven over the course of the game. Alright. Good to know. Something bad happened here.
There are cracks in this wall.
Indeed. Hadn't checked this during the day either. I don't think this is going to be anything I can do yet, but we're going to check. Yeah, it doesn't look like anything I can do just yet. It has a lot of Stark technology on the boxes, so this is probably a Tony area of some kind or other. Good old Tony Stank. Found another haven, the Lazy Brook. I'm just finding all of these things, aren't I?
This is which sign?
Glyph sprawled in bone chalk, meaning known only to the witch who wrote it. Anything I recognize. Not unlike alchemist thingies. Alchemists like to write in code. Hey, kind of level up. Plus 25% bonus rewards from pickups. The hunter has increased their arcane level, successfully using words of power and exploring the Abbey grounds. Even petting Charlie will grant arcane knowledge, which can increase the hunter's arcane level. At higher arcane levels, the hunter will gain increasingly powerful rewards from the Abbey grounds and arcane chests. The elemental altar. Give me that wolf's bane. A glowing vessel, victims of witch trials. Glowing apothecary vessel, a vessel containing created by witches to honor the innocent. We'll open that in a minute. More wolf's bane. Wonder. More tarot. Justice. She-Hulk proudly holds the scales of justice in one hand and a briefcase in the other, ready to face the courtroom. This card represents justice and fairness, righting the wrongs of the world. hangout spot? The Shady Trail. Give me those shrooms. Hunter's Journal, July 15th, 1710. My favorite days are those with Agatha. She even talks more than Sarah sometimes, but it doesn't feel like a drawing lecture. She's always smiling, and her face lights up when she tells me about all of her plants, trees, and mushrooms that she comes across, or that we come across. I never thought I would find myself excited to share the healing properties of moonflowers or dryad saddles. Agatha tells me that one day knowing these things will come in handy. But for now, let's just learn to love them. Read a journal page. Said I'm sorry so many times today, I might as well say it here, too. I am sorry. I don't know what happened out there. Agatha and I train at her altar all the time, but something was different. Somehow this time I lost control. Agatha could have been hurt, and it would have been my fault. Damn, I need to figure this stuff out. Caretaker isn't looking at me the same. Agatha makes it look so easy, and I just make everything harder. We'll find a way to draw the elemental energy back to the altar, and we'll try again. We always do. P.S. Somehow I broke the cauldron, too. I wasn't even in the library today. Interesting. It's another sign. Another tarot card, the Wheel of Fortune. Domino knows the way in which the wheel will turn and shows the answer in the playing card she displays. This card represents luck and good fortune along with the opportunity in the future.
Noble Oster guides my hand.
Now we are in the Whispering Wood.
It is one of the elemental
Airrod.
rods.
This quartz stone is so light it almost floats. Fluffy white and gray whirls conceal a core of roiling thunderclouds, which emit small bursts of light from time to time. Okay, another sealed apothecary vessel remains within are still thoroughly protected. Be right back. Alright. Let's see here. Another cracked wall.
This looks like a fairy ring.
Huh. The Hermit. Namor wields his trident with power, but remains tranquil in his strength below water. This card represents solitude and finding the answer sought from within one's own self. Alright, well, I still haven't found her.
I needed that.
Sure. Someone wonders where Illyana is.
I wonder who painted this. Sarah will like that.
Hunter?
There you are.
This room belonged to the Scarlet Witch, did it not?
Wanda. It belongs to Wanda. Let me guess. You are to ask me to do the one thing the others value me for. Opening their precious portal. Well, I am in the middle of something. Come back later.
It is never easy to lose a comrade. I know this too well.
We did not lose Wanda. We let her go. Before any of this started. Wanda's first grimoire. Agatha gave it to her when she was teaching her witchcraft, the dark arts. She was trying to help Wanda control her powers. She would never let me read it. So now I read it.
No good ever comes from a book like that. Trust me.
Funny. You sound like Wanda. She was also afraid of her power. I can almost hear her scolding me for invading her privacy. But I've done far worse than to rummage through someone else's things. Far worse. And so have you. I know what she's going through. To come face to face with true evil itself. To be dragged to some hell dimension so hot that your soul is scorched black. Your heart so filled with soot that it chokes out all the bright parts of you. Until you are just a dark thing of smoke and ash. I cannot let such a fate happen to her.
We will find her. I can feel it.
And just who will find her? Caretaker? The Avengers? Do not try to fool me with your false empathy, Hunter. I know Caretaker will never waste the resources looking for her.
Illyana, just open the portal.
You are like an Avenger. All you do is take, take, take. You expect too much. Okay, I will open your damn portal.
It is times such as this that I wish someone else here could drill holes through space and time. Perhaps Doctor Strange should spend less time tinkering with Tony Stark in the Forge and focus more on his magic.
Perhaps.
No matter. I will be there when you are ready, Hunter. Goodbye.
Let's make sure these are in the same order as they were last night.
Ah, I see.
And they are.
Hey, for someone they just dug up, you look pretty fresh. Tony Stark used to be the ultra-rich jerk I saw on TV. Now, he's the ultra-rich jerk who eats all the cashews in the bowl.
Looks like the new suit checks out. That's a mean left hook you got, too. Think I swallowed a little brimstone on that one.
I take it you found our gatekeeper. Then let me explain what's going on. When Hydra isn't preoccupied with world-ending scenarios, they spend a lot of their free time terrorizing the citizens of New York through various low-level operations. It's fairly routine stuff for heroes these days, and worst case, we'll still get some fresh intel in the process. Why don't you check the mirror table and see what we've got on our plate?
All right. Ghost Rider earned a combat bonus from sparring with a hunter. Add him to the squad to earn a powerful boost at the start of the next mission.
I did the math. It would actually be faster to fly.
What is stopping you?
Shockwave to shatter most of the lab.
We're sending you straight to the coordinates Captain Marvel identified in New York. Dr. Banner has confirmed that the gamma signatures in the area match those of Faustus's weapon.
All right. Stop Hydra helicopter. Disable the Hydra helicopter before it can depart. Target the helicopter with attacks to disable it before time runs out. Certain enemies will grant powerful cards when KO'd. Target the enemy with a cursor to see what card they will grant.
Looks like Captain Marvel was right on the...
Heroes. A single world-ending calamity is never enough to satiate your appetite for destruction. You insist on meddling further, forcing our hand yet again.
Oh, that's just lovely. Faustus has a radio. I'm assuming whatever Hydra is attempting to flee with on that chopper is our target. I suggest we stop it and
see for ourselves.
I have movement here. Maybe we can talk about this.
Hail that!
Double up.
Already. Weak, even for Hydra.
Here we go.
Never surrender.
I'll handle it. Pathetic. You're not out of this
Reinforcements
yet.
incoming.
You know what to do.
You don't even know what it is you're pursuing. The Gamma Disruptor you so narrowly escaped with in our last encounter was only the beginning.
Show yourself to me, Faustus. And I will open more than your eyes.
Such ferocious spirit. You truly are your mother's child, Hunter.
Shoot up here. Is that the best you've got?
At least Hydra Green is iconic. If you're a low-rent mercenary, I mean.
Now that was something.
lucky to still be breathing. Fall back and regroup.
Reinforcements incoming.
The last thing we need is for that pompous buffoon to win today. Stop that chopper, please.
With pleasure. This will be your end.
Let's do it!
Leave some for the rest of us.
Not bad.
Blade told me to mention your mother. Apparently, she's promiscuous. Strike. Time's
That helicopter's about to take off, and with it, any hope of understanding what this madman is actually ranting about.
We will stop it.
Our loyal soldiers aren't the simple punching bags you've come to expect, are they? Somehow these humans, these mere mortals, dare to stand against ye fearsome gods! All possible with Mother!
You were too weak for this fight. The light's gift.
I think we're about to lose.
This shall be of great help.
They got away.
Do not worry, heroes. You will still witness the results of my work firsthand. On the field of battle.
Try this one again.
Your fate is sealed. Maybe you do not realize the trouble you are in, friend. I feel more like myself every day. Healing.
I'm on it.
I saw a move like that once, centuries ago.
Hail Hydra!
That won't be enough to save you.
Really want to keep doing that?
I'll handle it. Lilith will not be pleased with your efforts.
Reinforcements incoming.
Take them out.
You don't even know what it is you're pursuing. The Gamma Disruptor you so narrowly escaped with in our last encounter was only the beginning.
Show yourself to me, Faustus. I will open more than your eyes.
Such ferocious spirit. You truly are your mother's child, Hunter.
Only the innocent are spared.
When an enemy is knocked back into a drop, they have a chance to be instantly KO'd. Instant KO chance goes up as the enemy's health is reduced. Heroes and supervillains cannot be knocked back into drops.
Possibly match your strength. Forever in service.
Engaging targets.
I'll get you for that.
How many times is that?
Reinforcements
You're not out of
incoming.
this yet.
You know what to do.
I can feel... The last thing we need is for that pompous buffoon to win today. Stop that chopper, please.
With pleasure. Hail that. Your time has come. Weird, even for Hydra.
Beat the remaining enemies to complete the
That should
mission.
keep them grounded. Now let's get everything back to the Abbey for analysis.
Such arrogance. Our brave soldiers will never allow you.
Oh, shut up already. Take them down.
Judgment comes. Mindless followers suffer the same fate. Never surrender!
Uh-oh. Heroes can take injuries in combat when they take damage at low health. Some heroes healed and protected to keep heroes healed and protected to minimize injuries. Injuries do not have immediate effects, but have negative consequences if the hero is brought back into combat while still injured.
Our loyal soldiers aren't the simple punching bags you've come to expect, are they? Somehow these humans, these mere mortals, dare to stand against ye fearsome gods. All is possible with Mother!
Is that the best you've got?
Here we go.
Regroup at position Tango.
What are we waiting for?
Target's moving. What sort of being are you?
Objective
Well
complete.
done. Seems like that's the last of them.
Last? There are more heads to the Hydra than you will ever comprehend, heroes. This is a minor setback at most.
Well, at least we don't have to listen to you any longer today. I consider that alone a victory.
Hooray. Alright, hopefully we'll have a save point here soon.
If Hydra wasn't paying attention before, they are now. Stay sharp.
Count on it.
Look like a hunter. Maybe even the hunter. Victory. 2-star mission rating. Return of the Hunter. These rewards are tied to hero level. As the hunter gains levels in combat, the rewards offered in future missions will improve. Don't worry about leveling every hero. As the hunter's level increases, any weaker heroes will automatically level up so they don't fall far behind. Higher difficulty levels, all heroes level up faster, granting access to higher rarity rewards sooner. Alright. I'm going to save. And we will stop here, and I should pick this up probably tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to try to play some tomorrow morning, but I think I'm going to be stuck out of not being able to do that. So I will definitely play this tomorrow afternoon. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day.